Like, what do I do? Who do I talk to? This really helps, a business owner kind of focus in on one thing each week.
Week in and week out, we're always going to have expectations. We always have some kind of goal.
But you're not alone. Every team gets matched up with 2 local mentors that meet with them every week to help keep them accountable and push them forward. And then in addition to that, we bring in guest mentors every week who are other amazing entrepreneurs and investors to plug you in and give you advice.
I get really good feedback and really personal feedback every single week. It's not like it's, a 10-minute conversation with a mentor.
You really get everything you need to go from concept to product market fit to actually launching a business.
Every startup in the lab gets a stipend up front and competes for an investment prize at the end, which is awarded at a demo day with 1,000 people in the audience.
The lab helped us materialize that idea and help it become a reality.
The lab's not just about bringing great mentors into the university. It's also about bringing the students outside into the real world, which we do at Capital Factory, the center of gravity for entrepreneurs in Austin, and an incredible co-working space and mentor network that's available to all the students.
Capital Factory is awesome. It's a beautiful place to work.
It's just such an engaging environment to be in.
I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be there.
So Longhorn Startup Lab, I think, is one of the most amazing opportunities that entrepreneurs have on this campus.
It gives us a lot of opportunity to learn from other entrepreneurs.
Really being able to learn from great founders that have built amazing companies is one of the best opportunities that you could ever have.
All right, everybody. Woo. Let's go ahead and grab your seats, grab some pizza, and we will get started. We're down here on the big stage today. This is where our demo day will be. We normally have class upstairs, though. And we've got some great guest mentors today. And then, as you all know, next week is South by Southwest. So your class assignment is to go to something at South by Southwest between now and then and take a selfie of yourself there and post it to the WhatsApp group and then say something about someone cool you met or something you learned while you're there. That's your assignment. So, and that's we will check. So that is a real assignment. The next Tuesday is spring break. So hopefully it'll be somewhere fun. Still working on your startup. No, just kidding. Well, maybe. We'll see. And then the next Tuesday, it'll be when the first graded pitches are. And so again, I've told you a little bit about those. I have the email ready to go. I'm actually going to send it right as soon as we get to the mentor stuff. I was just finishing it before class. So I have an email that just explains all the details and most of the questions you might have. And it links to a blog post with a bunch of good examples and comments from other people writing blog posts about how to do good pitches. And it's got one video in it, which I'm going to play for you in just a minute. And but we'll go through our normal intros and things like that first. So I think this is all the stuff I already said. First graded pitch due March 25th. Am I ahead of myself on the dates? Is it not the date we get back? What's the date we get back? It is the 25th? Okay. Just checking. All right, we're right. South by tables. Everybody feeling okay? South by the crawl sounds like it's gonna be awesome. Like 106 companies, thousands of people are registered. It's gonna be off the hook. It's gonna be really, really good. Somehow it just keeps getting better and better, and the people that run it keep figuring out how to make it better, and it's gonna be awesome. So I'm really glad you're all participating. If you guys do get stuck on anything, talk to Isha or talk to Everett or reach out to one of the team members here and let us know. But we really want that to be an awesome experience for you. And don't take your banners at the end. Those you get to keep those. So those are really cool things you can use when you're doing like maybe, like if you want to go table on campus or present anywhere else. And you're going to meet a lot of people there. So again, reminder to update your Pitch VC profiles. We played this a couple times, so I'm not going to play the video again. Did we have this last time? This is the map showing where the tables are going to be. And this floor is the upstairs. So the crawl is all downstairs and then also up these stairs behind us. And right at the bottom here, those are those stairs outside the door here. When you go up that stair, there's a big open area and a ballroom behind it, where as you can see, we'll have about 45 companies all listed out there. And then I think the place with the red circle, it's not showing more tables, but there'll be a dozen more tables in there. And so I'm interpreting right now, but we've done this before this way. So I'm guessing that all of your companies are in that little where the red circle is, and that's why they put that red circle there. Again, I'm a genius, but I'm just trying to figure this out. And this is how we did it before. And that means instead of these yellow arrows coming down the hall, they'll come through the middle, so everybody will walk by. And so it's awesome because it's basically like the Longhorn Startup Room. It's like almost exactly the right size to have all you guys. It is exactly the right size to have all of you in it. Oh, look, here's instructions. Check in from 3 to 4. Crawl starts at 5. At 5 is when we bring all the most important people here. No promises. Jake Howell is speaking at 3:30, which means he'll end at 4:30. Guessing it'll take him a while to get out of there. But he said, which he's going to come here after and then go walk the crawl with me. So that'll be a fun little start. We've got also the 4-star general in charge of the National Guard. It's like on the Joint Chiefs of Staff. It's a pretty big fucking deal. He'll be walking around with us for that beginning. And then everyone else at Capital Factory, they go get their top VIPs, and they're like kind of before it opens to everyone else. And they're like, all right, come at 5, and we'll walk you around and show you all the companies. So that's a really important way to get it started. And this, and obviously we're starting it with all the important people there. And then at 6, it opens up to everybody else. And it's usually just like a nonstop line the whole time. Gear. Table. We give you the table. Banner. You're getting the banner. GA badge. You pick up the GA badge. How am I doing? Sweet. Anything else you want to add? No, guess not. All right, today, we're right on time. I hope you feel welcome. Do you feel welcome? Welcome. It's 4:10, and so now we're gonna do our guest mentor intros. I see 2 of them. Is there another guest mentor here? We might have one more walk-in. It might be just maybe parking or something like that, or I might have to introduce it towards the end. But at least we have Andy and Gay here. And then we'll do our company updates as we usually do. We should probably update this slide because it never takes till 5:10. And then we'll jump into our office hours, which for, have you both been here and done this before? Once before? You haven't? Okay. But this one. You've done everything else at UT, I'm sure. So the way this works is at the beginning, you're going to introduce yourself quickly. It's easy. Then their companies are going to introduce themselves. They give their quick pitch, which they get to practice every week, and then they get to do the Elon Musk, like, what are the 5 things you did this week email. We did it before them, but it was, but yes, it's what did you get done this week, and what are your goals for the next coming week. Note, guys, we were doing that before Doge. And then we jump into office hours. For the office hours, we've got lead mentors and guest mentors. The lead mentors are mentors here at Capital Factory and also some of the founders. And they come here every week for the whole semester. We so appreciate all of you. And so they each get paired up with a company, and they meet with them every week. And then we also have a few guest mentors coming in each week. And the guest mentors also get to meet with typically 2 or 3 different companies over the course of an hour. And so each of the companies is getting to meet with a bunch of different people while they're here. They have a few, 2 or 3 guest lead mentors, and then many of them will get to meet with a guest mentor. And we do that for the end of the session. It's very informal, but awesome. And then we wrap. And so it's really easy and really appreciate it. And as I always say every week, and I will say again, especially for all the lead mentors that are here, and I hope you hear this every week, and I really mean it, and for our guest mentors as well, just recognizing that everybody of you that's here is, the reason you're here is you're super successful and amazing, and and you have all kinds of other things you could be doing, and many of you have families, and most of you have other businesses, and many of you have other things you'd like to be doing on a Tuesday afternoon after work, but you're here with us for a couple hours, and we really, really, really appreciate that. So thank you, and it's totally life-changing for the students to get to meet with all of you. So thank you. All right, so for you too, it's gonna be really easy. Quick 1 or 2 minute intro, 90-second 2 minute intro. What is your name? What are you famous for? But it's like, what would Josh think I'm famous for? Like, if Josh was gonna explain why, like, what's like, why are you up here? What kinds of things could you be most helpful with? Like, what would they want to ask you about? And maybe like related, but not like, what are you really excited about? Like, if it's maybe like, hey, like I'm really excited about autonomous cars, or I'm really into something else. So that's the quick intros to go through. So, Gay, would you mind if I put you on the spot and ask you to go first? That's fine. Come on up here. I'll just give you the mic, and then we'll hand it to Andy. I know, right?
Thank you, Josh. Thanks for inviting me. I'm a UT alum. I was a distinguished alumni, but that doesn't matter so much to you right now. It's about what I can do to help you today. And I started a company here in 1989. It was called T3. I don't know if any of you have heard of it because I sold it 5 years ago, but that's part of it. You build a company, 31 years in it, and then I sold it. And that's a long run. Most people sell their companies faster than that. But it was actually a sleepy town. Austin was not much going on in 1989. And I started this little ad agency that grew into one of the larger digital agencies in the country. We had offices around the country, and always home-based here, though. Had all my major technology teams here, but we were everywhere and had major Fortune 100 clients and really helped transform their businesses. And that's what's exciting to me, is how do you transform businesses? We were the first ones that would come into UPS and say, you know what, you're going to have to shift some of those television dollars over here into more of the digital space. And so that was my life for 31 years. Now I have the privilege of teaching at the University of Texas. I have a program. I've had 2 startups now inside UT. I think entrepreneurs never quit dreaming. We never quit starting things. And that's what's exciting about talking to you today, because if you're wired up as an entrepreneur, I think that you will always be one. Today I'm teaching a program called Women Who Mean Business at McCombs. It's for women with 10, 15, 20 years experience. And I love to measure things. And so we have a 97% net promoter score out of 5 cohorts. We also have 48% of our women who have already gotten promotions or been given raises, big responsibility. So that's a goal of that. And maybe some of you will want to hear about my newest startup, and that is that it's managed by McCombs, but it's for the entire university. It is not for just women, it's for men and women. And I'm starting a leadership program in the fall that will meet on Tuesday evenings. And I hope that some of you may, no, not exactly. It's from 5:30 to 7. But anyway, if you know anybody wants to sign up, I can tell you later. We'll talk about the applications for that. But I'm very excited to be here with you tonight. It's always great to hear about people's ideas and what you're trying to accomplish. But there's a big business side to our dreams. And fortunately, I was able to run a very profitable business all those years through thick and thin, ups and downs, horrible recessions, and just the trials and tribulations of that. The last thing I'll tell you, and if you want to talk to me about things, I know how to build teams. That is the most important thing I can tell you about tonight. And I've been very fortunate because I've known my strengths for a long, long time, and I certainly know my weaknesses. And you got to get your head around that and start putting the right people around you. Once you do that, anything can happen. So thanks for inviting me. Glad to be here. Gay Gaddis was CEO of T3, so good to talk to you tonight. And oh, one clap. I like that. All right.
Thank you. Good to see you. All right. Hey, guys. My name is Andy Treba, and thanks for inviting me also, Josh. I've done it a few times now, and I always love talking to all the entrepreneurs that are in this room, because the world needs great entrepreneurs to go make the world 1 degree better, and you guys are on the brink of doing a lot of that. So I guess I'm kind of a former entrepreneur, and I'm with you. Like, you never really lose it. But I guess I ran out of good ideas, and I started a private equity firm, and I kind of buy other people's ideas now instead. So we do all enterprise software. So for you guys that are kind of doing things in the enterprise software space, I guess one thing that's kind of unique about our firm is that I typically go run them for the first year or so, just so I can kind of get in, build the teams, as well as kind of understand the business. And it's more fun than just doing capital allocation and things like that. So I've been CEO of 20 firms now of different industries. So that means I guess I've been fired 19 times. But nonetheless, it gives you a little bit of an insight into like if there are things that you guys are doing on the enterprise software side. Happy to talk about that. I've also done some other startups here in town. I started a rideshare program here called Ride Austin that you guys are probably too young to have used, which really makes me feel bad. But it was a nonprofit version of Uber and Lyft. And we raised, a bunch of money for local charities because we had a donation feature to local charities and things like that. I've also done two-sided marketplace businesses, on the recruiting side, global recruiting, the whole 9 yards. So if any of those types of businesses are kind of in along the areas that you guys are interested in, certainly let me know. I'm happy to chat about it. So look forward to hearing everyone, and we'll go from there.
All right. Did any other guest mentors come in while they were going? Okay. Great. So now we will switch to the startup pitches. And you guys have been doing great. These really do get better and better every week. Oh, wait, sorry. Next week's guest mentors, which is not next week. This is like a month from now, right? So coming up, I think Carrie Waters was supposed to be here today. She'll get added to this as well. But Jason Karp, I've mentioned before, we keep rescheduling him, but he's awesome. He's worth it. So he's like, but he ends up, he's like, I have to go testify to this thing in DC. It's like, hey, these are have first-class problems when you invite important people. Matt Lasig is the co-founder and COO of Data.World, which is a really great company here in Austin that we're investors in. He's a very experienced operator. Brett Hertz, another really good friend and mentor here, and he's also their co-founders. Brett's the CEO. Sean Spector is the CEO of a company called Dropoff. They are a same-day courier delivery service, but their business model was really to kind of digitize them. Most of those were kind of old mom-and-pop, small local places, and they made a really great digital platform, where you can see everything that's going on and track everything, and then started buying up all those little ones to grow really quickly. So it's a roll-up type strategy. And he also has a background in gaming too. So some really great ones coming. Now we'll jump into your updates. And looks like we may even have a slightly different layout this week, so they'll mix up the order, but I'll hand it off to you guys to start. And then for our guest mentors, just as a reminder, while they're doing their pitches, there's going to be 11 of them. And ideally, you want to not jot down like 3 that are like the most, you're like, yeah, those are ones I think would be most interesting for me to go talk to. And then when they're done, we'll kind of talk to you and point you in the right direction, help you get to meet them. Sorry.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ben, co-founder of Build, and we're building an AI agent for CAD for mechanical design engineers to automate some of their tedious and repetitive workflows. So you can take Rambod for an example. He was a mechanical design engineer at Apple, and he really enjoyed doing like the creative design process, designing 3D models. But a lot of his time was bogged down from documentation, so like 2D drawings and other testings and analyses. So he was fed up and he wanted to do something about it. So he ran into me and later Zach, and we joined forces to build a startup. So so we started talking to a lot of engineers, and we ended up building a tool to simulate manufacturing imperfections, and we acquired 3 customers. But then we started learning more about like the medical device space, and their problems seemed to be exaggerated as there was a lot more documentation. And that's because they have to comply with like FDA regulations. So right now we're trying to hone in on that space. So for our accomplishments last week, we got an investment offer from Antler, and then we've talked to, I think, 14 engineers and professors in the medical device space to learn more about like their FDA and other problems. And then for this week, we want to do more of the same of that. We scheduled some follow-up meetings to learn and dive deeper into like FDA-related stuff. And then what we need help with, so I guess navigating like enterprise partnerships. So we have someone, a VP of engineering, who wants to potentially be our advisor, our mentor, and I guess we want help like with that partnership. So yeah, I don't know, Andy, if you could help us there, but yeah.
Hi everybody, I'm Avis. I'm the co-founder at GameTricks, and to preference this, I've always played games as a kid, and I've racked up thousands upon thousands of hours, and I actually got pretty good. But I can't say the same for my co-founder. And one night in particular was really, really bad. And to say the least, you know, he was shit. And so that got me thinking at that time, like, let's hop off the game, bro. Like, we're done for the night. And so I realized that it was 3 a.m. and I got to thinking, what could I do to improve his game? And I realized that there was a game happening, actually, an esports game with professional matches in Korea happening at 4 a.m. And so I told him, we're gonna sit down and watch this game for however long it takes, 3 hours, 4 hours, and I'm gonna break down every single bit of the game, why they do what they do, and hopefully we can get better. And so after that session, a month later, he was able to jump from the bottom of the barrel to the top 20% of the game. And so I got to thinking, as a data scientist in computer science, how could I replicate this? And so I did my research, and I realized that a lot of data is really underutilized within the esports space. Because with the nature of esports, they collect data like telemetry, location data, but for an average consumer, a lot of that's not available to you readily. You only see like traditional stats, whether that be points, you know, and in traditional traditional sports, you only get like points, rebounds, assists. But imagine you could have the direct location of LeBron James live, right? And so that's where GameTricks comes in. With GameTricks, we want to aim to develop this predictive analysis, and whether you're a sports bettor, you know, there's not many ready available tools for you if you're planning on betting in the esports space. And so whether you're an esports team looking for scouting information, talent acquisition, we want to be there from the end to end. And so what did we accomplish last week? So we talked with a bunch of VCs within the gaming space to try to get into partnerships with a bunch of these esports organizations within the tier 1 scene of Valorant. Valorant's a tactical shooter developed by Riot Games, which is right now the spearhead of all of esports currently. And so we've also made huge strides within our MVP with plans to release that this Friday for Startup Crawl, so we can demo it to a bunch of potential users as well as pushing it out to everyone that's on the wait list. And so what do we need help with? We need help with strategic partners, whether you're looking to create an esports organization yourself, or you have connects within the esports space, or you have connects with investors that are investing within the esports space, like any private equity companies like Peak 6 or anything, that'd be nice as well. And if anybody would like to sign up for our wait list, it's gametricks.gg, and thank you.
Hi, my name is Bersan Bashalu, and I'm the co-founder of Clipstack. So I got into working in the YouTube industry, and I got warned that organization in the YouTube industry is a nightmare. And when I first started, I found out this was true. My instructions, they were not clearly labeled. They were across hundreds of messages in different group chats on what I'm supposed to do. The clips I was supposed to use, they were buried in Google Drive, and even on some other people's computers I'd never even talked to. As well, whenever I would render anything, it would take hours. But then my organization started using Clipstack. With Clipstack, all my tasks and instructions were all in one place, and one click away, I could access all the clips I needed to use, and with server-side editing and rendering, it turned hours of waiting into minutes. So if you're a creator, stop wasting your time on organization and let Clipstack handle it. and instead focus on creating because that's what's important. And what we accomplished last week, we worked a lot on branding. We got new t-shirts. And, and after we made these shirts, we also just got a new logo, so the shirt's outdated now. Special edition, $100. As well, we are working really hard to try and finish up our startup, or our MVP for the crawl, so we can start demoing our product to the people that come in. And things we need help with, we're always looking to meet new people and learn new ways to market our product.
Hey everyone, my name is Avnish Shopi, and I'm here with Internest. So this past summer, I got the amazing opportunity to be a software engineer intern at Disney, all the way in San Francisco. I thought my life was at the absolute peak. I got the job, got to go to a buzzing new city, but that's when I realized life wasn't so good. I had to find a brand new place to live, thousands of miles away from my home, and also had to find a perfect roommate where I basically knew no one in the city. So when these challenges came, I was filled with a whole ton of stress. And it was just terrible for me. So the first thing I did is I scoured Airbnb, Verbal Expedia, Craigslist, Reddit, a whole ton of different websites to find a housing option that would best match for me. What I realized is I ended up finding housing that was way too expensive and that was way too far away from my office itself. Second thing, after I moved in, I realized I was paired up with a random roommate. My random roommate was a 35-year-old man that ended up working night shifts. So anytime I came home after a long day of work, ready to explore this brand new city, I realized that I had no one to explore with. So with all these issues, I realized I can't be the only intern facing all these issues. So I got the chance to talk to other interns at Disney and realized this was a problem faced by a multitude of people. That's what kind of inspired me and my team to create Internest. Now, looking at this summer, I got the amazing opportunity to relocate to Seattle to work for AWS. And I will not have this challenge anymore because of Internest. What Internest was able to do for me was able to find the perfect housing. Because Internest was able to congregate a whole ton of Airbnb, Verbal Expedia listings, and subleasing listings in the city of Seattle and put it in one place. So I was immediately able to find the perfect housing for me. And second thing, I already found 3 roommates that are also interns in Seattle. So I know I'll have roommates that follow my passions, follow my needs, and will also be interns within the city of Seattle. Now this is what we strive to do at Internest. We strive to allow you to focus on your internship, explore a brand new city, get industry professional kind of experience, and not really have to worry about finding a new house or finding friends in a brand new city. This is what we strive to do at Internest itself, where we help you find not just a place to live for the next 3 months, but help you find your home for the next 3 months. And what did we accomplish last week? We had a pretty strong week last week. We got the chance to do our second YC interview, and we think it went pretty decent, but we don't know, to be honest. So we'll get results from that back on Friday, so we'll see how that goes. And we've also been talking with a couple more companies to really discuss them using an application of Internest and see how that goes. And what we're really looking for from y'all in particular is if you know any companies or know any talent acquisition HRs for companies that have interns, we'd love to get a connection with those people to really demo Internest in front of them and show them what Internest really does. And also, we need some hand-on marketing. So if you have any marketing specialties on how we could bring Internest into more eyes in a more efficient way, if you have knowledge on that, we would love that as well. And yeah, thank you so much. Internest is also live, Internest, INTERNNEST.net. Please search it up and sign up. Thank you.
Hey guys, my name is Vi, and I'm the CEO of TouchDrive. So according to the NHTCA, there's a drunk driving accident every 36 minutes in the US. And then according to when we came around 4 o'clock here, right? And then when we leave around 6, 4 more people will be close to death due to a drunk driving accident, and these could have all been preventable. With breathalyzers and IEDs, yes, they're well institutionalized, but they're not necessarily efficient nor accessible, and we're here today to solve that. With TouchDrive, what we're doing is creating a dual sensor system that detects drivers' blood alcohol levels totally non-invasively with the use of touch print sensing and also camera sensing. And we're solely focusing on the B2B space right now, but our end goal is obviously the B2C and for like general parents and for the kids. So right now, our customer scenario is whenever we create our external adapter, it can be adaptable to all types of vehicles and also operator rooms whenever they clock into work, like HVAC workers, truck drivers, pilots, and so forth. So whenever they first enter and then clock in, they use our product, and that data would be automatically sent to insurance and also the managers to ensure they're also accountable and also lowering their insurance risk and premiums. So as of last week, we got one LOI from a really small Spanish automotive insurance company whenever our prototype's ready. And we also have our final round of Antler residency program interview tomorrow. So we've been focusing on getting a lot of client intels and seeing what's like the best idea of like how to protect their drivers and also protect their security. And as of right now, what we need for this next week or so, or what we need from y'all's mentors, if y'all know any local HVAC companies, local home service companies, or anyone that we can speak to see so forth, if we can see like a potential pilot program with them. And that's basically it. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Ivy, and I'm with Spiceable. Does anyone in the room want to improve your diet, eating more healthy? Yeah, nice to see. Yeah, me too. It's such a common topic right now for people to talk about healthy lifestyle, healthy eating. But let's be honest, cooking delicious meals at home can be kind of a chore sometimes. Sorry, give me 1 second. Yeah, so this one time, I was trying to make a coconut butter chicken recipe. So I got whole ingredients, fresh ingredients, so it's not like a sodium oil-packed meal from restaurants. And it's just, when I look at the recipe, when I look at the seasoning, it's so complicated. Lemongrass, coriander, cardamom, turmeric. I wasn't gonna go buy a whole new spice pantry. And just thinking about having to work with 10 different bottles, so it's already hurting my head. And this is pretty common to a lot of people. A lot of the times, thinking about the idea to cook a delicious, healthy meal at home just feels a little more like a chore. It gets frustrating instead of rewarding. So processed foods, eating out, taking out becomes another option. So is there a way to cook delicious homemade meals with the least amount of hassle? This is why I created Spiceable. So all the different spices that you need for this one dish are all pre-portioned and packed in the blister packs that can just be popped out into your pot. All you need is just one card. And it also comes with a separate recipe card as well. So all the ingredients that you would need for this one dish are all listed with simple, easy to follow instructions. And there's also a video of me cooking the dish using the spice card as well. So Spiceable provides this all-in-one cooking experience for people to explore worldly flavors. All you need is just fresh, whole ingredients with bold flavors ready to go. So with Spiceable, eating healthy doesn't mean sacrificing flavors. It means cooking the delicious meal with real ingredients, feeling good about what's on your plate, and actually enjoying the process. So because good food is supposed to be enjoyed, and every home cook deserves to have the flavors of the world at their fingertips. So make home cooking healthier, easier, and tastier, one spice card at a time. So last week, we had a showcase on Saturday at the TEDx Austin showcase, and we're able to sell our products for the first time. We're able to sell 25 units. We got a lot of contacts and tons of valuable feedback. Thank you. Thank you. And for next week, we're gonna be focusing on following up with the customers, so getting feedback from them, and also launching a website, providing the option for people to pre-order, as a lot of people requested at the showcase, and also establishing a email campaign for marketing and also keeping contact with the customers, and also focusing on like packaging and manufacturing processes. So I guess my ask for today is if you have any person in the CPG space who might have great insights in terms of manufacturing, logistics, and distribution will be really helpful. Also, if you know any events to be able to showcase this product and getting this initial traction would also be really helpful. Thank you.
Hey, my name's Henry. I'm the CTO of Scraps. Let me tell you about a house music producer named Cashew. He's got 200K monthly listeners, so he's made a name for himself, but he's definitely still on the rise. Me and my co-founders, when we were talking to him, we asked him, which of your tracks are your favorite? And his answer surprised us. He said that the songs he was most proud of have never been released. Either his label passed on them, they didn't quite fit his audience, or they were simply too experimental. He actually told us that he's got hundreds of fully finished tracks just sitting on his hard drive. And it turns out Cashew isn't alone. For every released track, there are 2 to 3 fully finished songs that will never see the light of day. At Scraps, we're trying to give these tracks a second life. We've built a marketplace where artists can monetize their unused music. They can sell this music to other artists, and buyers can remake, rework, or simply just release a track under their own name, turning unused music into a valuable asset. So now Cashew is monetizing his unused music on our site. And so are big artists with millions of monthly listeners like West End, Wookie, and 500 other registered sellers. We've expanded the marketplace to also include other music assets like project files, templates, visuals, and vocals. And we've grown to over 700 listed products. So we've done around 40K in GMV with no paid ads. And yeah, we're excited for the future of Scraps. So last week, we onboarded 5 new sellers, got a total of 20 new product listings. I had to file franchise tax, which was a pain. If you guys are Delaware C Corps, that was due a few days ago, so keep that in mind. And then this week, I'm focusing on finishing up a feature that will allow our users to leave reviews. Also, want to prepare for the startup crawl. And so in terms of what I need help with, I'm really looking for just ways to grow, strategies. It sounds like, you've got experience with marketplaces and ads, so kind of perfect combo. But yeah, that's it.
Hi everyone, I'm Justin. I'm working on Ducky. So currently, for a lot of students, learning is still really difficult. Almost every day, students will go to really long and difficult classes or lectures. The problem is, right afterwards, we almost forget everything we've learned, if we even understood any of it at all. This is a huge problem because right before an exam, we'll have to basically relearn everything, cram it, force memorize it, and maybe even pull all-nighters. Right after the exam, we'll forget everything again. And so learning never really builds or compounds over the years that you're in school. And so we're working on Ducky. Ducky is a personalized AI tutor that learns how you learn over time. How it works is you basically have a conversation with Ducky, and you just teach and explain what you've learned from class. The reason you're teaching and explaining is because it's the best way to learn and retain information. And so in the long run, Ducky will store everything you've learned, exactly how you learned it, all explained in your own words. And so that's it. So what did we accomplish last week? So we had a Z-Fellows interview. It went really well. And we also, Z-Fellows, it's that one week, basically like San Francisco $10,000 event they have, yeah. So that went really well. We also got text to voice to work, and so basically, before when you have a conversation with Ducky, it was on a web app, and you can basically read from the screen and talk to it, but Ducky wouldn't talk back. Now it does talk back. It's audio. This helps a lot of students that prefer to not have to read the whole way through. It also helps a lot of students with dyslexia if they can't really read well, and also for K-12 kids that might not be able to read well as well. And so what we hope to finish this week is continue working with users and testing the text to voice, and also the backend for the database and storing what you've learned. So the ask. So if you know anyone in educational institutes, that would be very helpful to be connected. Thanks. I think there's 2 more.
Sorry, the exit's here, so everybody walks towards me.
Hi, my name is Harish Nivasan.
So 2 out of every 5 people in this room will experience cancer at some point in their lives, and this number is only increasing. Our team had the opportunity to speak with dozens of cancer patients in the Austin area, and what we learned was that some of the biggest challenges that they faced were outside of the hospital. This includes feelings of loneliness, lack of transportation, and a lack of access to financial aid resources. Large, comprehensive healthcare centers like MD Anderson typically have patient health navigators, which are people whose jobs are to find these resources for their patients and help them access them. However, this process is expensive and inefficient, as every healthcare navigator is often working with hundreds of patients at once, and it's a pretty slow and inefficient process, as they often are using archaic methods like binders to organize these resources. So we're building Panacea. Panacea is a hub for all of these resources where patients can come and talk to an AI that can then recommend these resources in accordance to what they need. So they can come on and talk about their day or some of the challenges that they're facing, and then the algorithm will be able to recommend specific resources in their area that they can then use. So this week we were mostly fixing some bugs that we were able to then push out. We also had the opportunity to talk to one of our competitors, and we're continuing. We're also about to begin. We started work on our AI model, which is really exciting for the dev team specifically. And then for our ask, like if you have any experience with like enterprise, like working with hospitals and insurance companies, would definitely be useful.
All right, hi everyone. I'm Ian, I'm the CPO of Phenopsys. So a couple months back, my team actually met someone that was working 110 hours a week. His name was Jonah, and he was an investment banker. See, bankers, essentially, like Jonah, are facilitating these mergers and acquisitions of billion-dollar companies. And when Jonah was facilitating these transactions, he spent 90% of those 110 hours buried in something called a data room. Now, for those that are unaware, data rooms are essentially platforms that companies upload confidential financial documents that these bankers, like Jonah, go and then analyze. Now, Jonah explained to us that he was spending countless hours just sifting through thousands of documents, trying to find the smallest bits of information. It's not only inefficient for him and essentially unproductive, but it also makes these deal times last months. It creates sort of tension and dissatisfaction with the companies involved, as well as the superiors. That's what we're fixing with Phenopsys. So currently, we've built out an entire data room that's filled with features that help these analysts find that needle in a haystack in terms of answers. So they're able to essentially use AI-powered querying over the entire data room. They're able to get document summaries, document tags, and customization of the actual data room. So that is essentially what we worked on, and this past week we were able to actually implement 2 new features, one of which being a deep research feature that goes over the entire data room and compiles entire reports that these analysts would normally take hours to complete. Now, the next feature that we ended up creating was an auto Excel form filling feature. It was something we realized filling out Excel forms based on these documents in the data rooms is really common, and we're able to do that in a fraction of the time. As for next week, we also want to prepare for Startup Crawl and also just get some more front-end connectivity with the features that we're building out. My ask for this week, if any of the mentors, the guest mentors as well, have connections to people that might be using data rooms, I know they're pretty commonly used in P as well. If any of you guys have any connections, I'd love to talk and just learn about your experiences. Thank you.
My name is Clint, and having over 380 million monthly gamers, Roblox, which is like a platform where developers can come and make money from their games, is not only the world's fastest, but largest gaming platform. But what if I told you that despite having 2.5 million developers on the platform, that less than 1% of these developers are actually making any money from their games, not because of market saturation or because of lack of talent, but despite these developers knowing how to make good games, they often lack key business skills to make their game succeed, such as marketing, funding, or even operations, let's say. That's why we at Young Bros help these developers by one, offering funding in exchange for revenue share and equity in their company. Two, we give these developers access to our ecosystem of influencers with millions of subscribers to help market the game off launch. And three, we help these developers with sustaining the game on the long term to make their game into a business using sustainability tactics such as live ops or brand partnerships. Take Jacob, for example, a developer who we have worked in the past. He had a great fighting game, but just didn't know how to market. He just never had any experience with it. He was a very technical type of person. We provided Jacob funding as well as boosted his marketing using our knowledge on the platform's algorithm, as well as giving him access to some of our influencers. After relaunching, Jacob's game became one of the top fighting games on the platform, quickly selling to a larger studio for over $500,000, despite it taking only $15,000 to make. Jacob was able to pay for college completely and became a full-time developer immediately, and we made over 50 times how much we invested in under 1 month. To date, with only 4 small projects and not including Jacob's exit, we have an annual revenue of $100,000 with 60 to 80% profit margins depending on the game. And with your help us turn these developers' games into businesses. Thank you. All right, y'all better copy. I'm sorry. What did we accomplish last week? So we have 2 games in the pipeline. 1 game is hopefully going to be done by this Friday, so we can start wrapping up the marketing for that and start getting into launch. For that game, we currently onboarded 42 influencers already. So those are like people who we connected that want to play that game on their channel. And then we also want to start a countdown campaign for that in this community to make sure everything goes well. And the other game, we're trying to like keep that constant while we're getting the other game launched out. And we're also still in talks with Roblox China as well. What do we want to accomplish next week? We're going to have to make a really big decision whether we want to launch the game before spring break or after, depending on how well the first few tests of the game goes. And then also we keep on wanting to talk to Roblox China and see any opportunity that comes with that.
Depending on what you want to do over your spring break.
Just work, I guess. I mean, there's nothing much else to do. But who do we need help with? If you know anyone in game development, any type of game, especially UGC, so like games where developers are like making the game individually and not looking for like a larger studio. But that's pretty much it, though.
Great job. I really, in particular, I appreciated that there were a lot of different people presenting today that haven't presented before, and you guys did a great job. And just as a reminder, when we do the graded pitches, not the final pitch at the end of the semester, but when we do the graded pitches, we will randomly select at the beginning of class 1 person from the team to pitch. So everybody needs to be ready to pitch. All right, so we'll go to the breakout tables and kick off office hours. And then we'll see you again in 2 weeks. You should be getting an email from me today about pitching. It's got suggestions. It's got things about the format. You can reply to the email if you have questions. In it, it's going to have links to some blog posts and things you should watch and read. They're really helpful. In particular, I was going to play it, but I realized it's long. It's like 15 minutes, so it's too long to play here. But there's one blog post about InfoChimps. That's just like a company name. And it's just really good. And for me, it's particularly a great example of the value of practice. You get to see. I just happened to get. I was working with this entrepreneur almost all by video where he was recording the videos. So he kept sending me new videos. So I have all these videos where you see his pitch go from like the very first one to the final presentation he gave at demo, which doesn't even happen anymore, but it used to be like the biggest thing to go pitch at. And so it's great because you can just really see the impact of practice and what that does. So I'd watch that, take a look at those notes, and then we'll have you'll have some other tips in there about what you need to do for presenting. So TJ, what's up? Please.
Yeah.
Slow down to half of what you think you're doing now. You won't go that slow, but it'll really help the delivery in a way that people can understand. And I would say, really think about how you finish your pitch. The very last statement that you want to leave people with, you want it to be, exhilarating, exciting, thought-provoking, and
Repeatable.
repeatable. Like memorize that.
It's probably the only thing they're going to remember. So make that last sentence like, just give it to them on a silver platter.
Finally, I would say for the crawl, you have to think about a very condensed, like 10-second format of how you're going to interact with somebody who's stopping by your booth. And I would make it more of a Q&A delivery, right? Hey, what does your company do? Well, we're pursuing an opportunity in the esports business. Are you familiar with esports, or have you played any esports games? No. Okay. Well, what we're doing is think of it in that.
And also, you might flip it. Like, if for some reason you feel like people aren't coming up and talking to you, sometimes, like, to be honest, a lot of this is like, do you look like people you want people to come up and talk to you? This, like, matters. Body language matters a lot here. But if they're not, like, part of the practice is, like, can you, there's literally 1,000 people walking by you. Like, can you outreach to one of them? Like, make eye contact, right? And be like, hey. And then, like, you can just flip it around. Like, hey, what do you do? And that's not a weird question to ask. Like, they're coming through the thing. Like, just ask them what they do. And either they're going to say something where you're like, oh, like, that's super relevant to what I'm doing. Like, oh, actually, like, let me tell you about this. Or you're going to be like, I have nothing, right? And then you might be like, oh, well, we're working on this. And, like, it might be that's okay if, like, then they just move on, Or maybe they say something else, and you're like, oh, you should meet this other Longhorn startup company, Game Metrics, right? Or whatever it might be. But again, you can go engage, and everything doesn't have to be a pitch either. Like, they are normal people walking by, and you can just be like, hey, what's up? Like, like, what's the coolest thing you've seen here today? Like, where are you from? Like, you can do all kinds of things like that. Exactly. Yep. If there are two of you, have one of you stand outside the booth. Totally serious. And now it looks like they can't tell. They don't know, like, whether, like, they walk up, both of you start talking to them. Now there's three of you talking. Like, like, right? Like this is for real. Like, Scott's point's a good one.
And then make sure when you wrap, like, how are you going to follow up with this person? Who is the person? What's their contact information if it seems like there's a connect? Like, really think through how you're going to do that, because it's going to go by really, really fast.
Are you going to have something to hand out? Are you going to?
How are you going to do this so that you have good lists and you remember who to follow?
These would all be good, more things to talk about with your mentors today, too. All right, let's break. Thanks, everybody.
was actually telling us for one of their projects is like we paid $5 million, and then at the end just got the PDFs and step files. And I got mad and I was like, what do you mean? Like, pay for all this and step files? Yeah, and then change the format and all that. So the number though, like, makes a lot of sense. Like, he was talking about the same number. I would say this. Do you remember some of those numbers? But like, for example, like much better right side. Now, yeah, that makes sense. Like M3 design engineers pitching the now, they say we charge about $250 an hour, and every TA we charge about 2 hours. Like some of those TAs are like, I do that. Like literally more than 2 hours. Slow it down. Engaging. We're in a I would think about it. We've already kind of discussed it. So definitely, I think as we're looking into some of these ideas, that's definitely the sort of things I want to do is identify the risks with each of them, especially technology. I think it's about diving everything into the tech side of it and see if we can actually, like, also in the KMS side. For example, I think we've been talking to people, asking them if they've switched KMS in the past. It seems like more companies have done that than had. So I kind of some of that worry that I had about like people that are stuck in solid states, like they seem to be more open to KMS. A lot of what we heard is they said in the early stages of devices so frequent to acquire a company, and they always come with their own QMS. So it's a nightmare. It takes 6 months, $200,000, but we are doing this switching. So it seems like if we did something, so that puts that risk out. I think it's still a very real risk. I would say it's not something easy. A lot of buyouts with excluding that. But that's also like now, further down the line, I think where we start with activity is going to be something from CAD to POS and these expenses. Kind of want to go over some of those ideas with you and make sure we're asking the right appropriate questions to like validate or invalidate each of those. I think definitely want to put some numbers like when each of these numbers are so one of the things that we're talking, and you're talking to VPs and co-founders, and they have to screen these jobs. not having the context of how it changes. It's like I see a change in 2D. I need to either bring everyone in the room or so Crayon was actually saying we have this boss test. I have this lady at my company that definitely doesn't pass the boss test. If she dies, all the knowledge is gone. So he was like describing that. But like some system, when I think of that, I don't know any company like might choose the set that up with it, but you have to manage it. Like once when you start a project in it, it's just set it up. Okay, so it's like how about using it? Yeah, really, or like if you're starting life pushes in and something has a typo, it goes back and you start again. At least for now, you need to dig into this a lot more to see what percentage of typo is like simple typo. It seems like if typos, part numbers, and copy paste things that we could definitely have an LM tool check for in the beginning. Especially if you're thinking, look at the previous bytes and how they restarted the words they use. For the part number, we can definitely look at that. And what I was telling you guys is like usually if you put a part number that's in the bump, it was going to catch that in there, like unless you cross check. But for us, we can use vision and say actually this part in CAD is a screw. You're using it. The context says battery, right? So there's something going on here. So things like that I think are not possible that it hasn't been before. So doing a system that checks that draft, initial draft before it goes through the signature seems to be using that key. together, like having that platform and maybe the MVP of that is just make something that makes signatures easier. And this could be multiple things, but I think it's just maybe a very simple addition is fact like check everything with an LLM. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Try to fix it. Yeah, exactly. So that could be an MVP that starts here. Definitely want to talk to some lawyers here. I think this might be an area where, like, hearing some attorneys' opinion about can we hold on to signatures, specifically if I tell you your section is this, you're approving overall the document, but you're really approving this. If the error is not in your section, do we really need to go back and get your signature, or is there any legal workaround for that? So that's a good question. Should be explained. So if it's like that's definitely we'll start there. Like, are these two like let's say this on its own, and it just like grows into that. It would be amazing if I had that at Apple. The other two areas that these are the main areas. I think we've like kind of zoomed into this category of like there's a lot we can do for documentation, just like focusing on that for now. The other thing is they do very regularly, which they're not specifically complaining about, but we know some companies are paying a lot of money for is the predicate device search. 510K basically you say I'm equivalence, showing equivalency to these existing products. Choosing those correctly can really change how you go about it, like if you submit 510K or else, you know. So they seem like some companies, and FDA has the summaries, but not the full test, like what test did they come out? And just talking to a IT professor today, who was the director of engineering at a medical device company, he said you are like this against time until we ended up paying a company to buy their database. You can request the full 510K freedom of like information. There's a website you can request it. So it takes a while. Like I think somewhere between 6 months and a year and a half to get that. But there are secretly companies who piled up that gets and they send it to you. So he said, I guess that would make sense because I mean, like class 3 PMA, like class 3, I'll pop it. It's on my page. I can download everything. Does it also avoid objects by finding your which would be definitely class 3 I don't know how they got away with this, but they were like, the CEO was running out of money, and he was like, I'm doing this crazy move, either we'll tear down, we're going to die anyways. He found a series of class 2 switches, and kind of showed the equivalency of switches and asked the guys to change a few designs, like change this part, change that one, more like this. And he said it took us 12 months to do that. But by the end, we were certainly enough to those that we went in 510K path than compared to PMA. You just have rules that you throw it out, you just do like a firewall, do you change publish research, and then like engineers from different well-known medical device companies, they come and do a like a PhD-like research, they publish the results. Everyone else can reference that and review those SOPs and say, my test results. So they do those research 2 to 3 months at the beginning of the program to decide what path they're going to go. Since a significant amount of effort, also helps patents that things that maybe LLMs could do a better job of searching than just keyword searches. Not, hopefully it will get close to that. But they're definitely paying an expert to come in and give them some ideas of like they should follow. But with reasoning models, like LLMs get to a point in a year that they can read all that and say, hey, here's this crazy way you can think about it.
Okay, do you want to see?
That's another area really separate to the other stuff. And the other one is similar to predicate device search, but once you have all that background, you're supposed to do the risk matrix. So kind of define all the tests you're going to do. Prepping that is a very lengthy process too, and that kind of like, if you do this part better, maybe you can just give them spit out the initial draft. This does not to me yet seem as hard as the rest, because if they have existing products within the same company, they would probably be making very similar devices. They keep referencing their own predicate devices. And so all the files look very similar to the previous one, but the engineer still has to rep them, giving them a first draft and be like, hey, here are everything that's shared with everything we've done so far, but maybe you want to add a new line and add it at the end. They do this once at the beginning, and are you familiar with the design transfer process? I read about it this week. I've heard about it online, but it's like the craziest, lengthiest part of their job. They do all the development in one facility. A change of facility means complete reevaluation of everything. And now your documents with 90% identical to what it is. They have to be redone, all the signatures are right again. It's a very lengthy process, and sometimes it takes 6 months. Version 2 would be identical to version 1. It's just you're going ramping to production. It seems like a design engineer does all the resubmitting the paperwork. And then like they were giving us an example that one time it took over 6 months to do, and the products were sitting in the warehouse, we were not allowed to sell until the last signature of the last Friday. validate product, before everyone buys it. I know what it takes to be a validated product. If I help you develop it, I'll promise that out of the box it will be validated. And apparently we need to make sure we're compliant with whatever it takes, and then we save more money to customers, and we are validated. There's no certificate to get to stay validated.
Right, but you have to be here.
Well, we have to be here. He was like, well, how would you set up the project from the beginning? But I'm like, still like, why not? Why wouldn't you have your company? I like the use case. And obviously we have a lot of women. It's not like we're all having problems, so just need to make sure what else they all pay. Because don't give them a hard no, because it's definitely very knowledgeable. But talking to like Techstars guys too, they were like telling that we need a good design about this mentorship. And we see how it's going to help you, but you want definitely definitely want to talk to him more. He was being mysterious towards the end of the call too. I know this quality guy, he's the guy. Like, if there's gray zones, and then but he didn't make the intro at the end of the call. Like, he's like, if we get more serious, then it's So we had this customer call with a medical company that's like not based in Austin, it's based in the Bay Area, but their VP of engineering is based in Austin. Korean, I forgot his last name. So we have a good call. He like talks a lot about some of the pain points we've heard from people. And then I'll talk about like listening to the calls after. We started listening to calls, we realized we're doing an awful job, missing like 90%. I was so mad. So I listened back to the call, and like, this guy is just telling us what the pain point is. And then we talked about it for like 30 minutes. And at the end of the call, that's when we got interested. He was like, well, I think like, it resonated with me when you reached out and said you want to do something in this space, because I'm just like real 510K or now, right? How much everything was. And I wanted to like more closely involved with the team as an advisor, or I have my consultancy company that works out. But if we get to that point, I know these quality guys like this that I can bring with me. And also, if they want to sell to other companies, you need to be validated to sell in the medical devices space. I know what it takes to be validated, so one of the values I bring to the table is to make sure our submission that we develop is validated. We're meeting him again tomorrow night. have you thought have actually done many bug devices? Either did a company and failed and they backed the ET or they were the ET and they're doing a company. So I've been getting a lot of good like more mentors to like co-founders of companies. The head of department was this Iranian guy who like stuck our head in for like 5 minutes. We were meeting him, we just in the meeting for tomorrow at 2 p.m. He has his own vending device like a tool for newborns so they can read.
You can always ask me, are you mentoring people? One is, and then I heard someone say, you say that, it's complimentary anyway, right? I don't care who it is, but I'm looking for him. Apparently this recruited someone who should have a job.
Yeah, we met, well, I think we heard that about that
Maybe it is the guy.
Tyler. I just seen that. So he responded. I would be happy to meet you. This guy had like apparently big ass medical device company quit to come to develop this department at UT.
Yeah, that's the
guy. Yeah. Yeah, apparently. I have to look him up. I like need to company out, but
so he's the manager of how many companies. Hey, how do you how do you like
So, yeah, I feel like now, Genesis is fine. He was the CTO, was pretty open. Like every time I engineer and see there are a few things that we spend a lot of time on. But now we have more set ideas around things that we came from everyone. If he's really okay with us doing one of these with him, I think that'd be
if the guy has I would be very
So finally, what do you got?
I see stuff where people are like, oh, I got some discretionary budget over here. And it's not their job. Maybe it's stuck in a science or whatever. So you have like, oh yeah, like something like that. I can come up with one thing. That's where you send it to you. We could go around and talk over and figure out. Honestly, if you found any way to help with that, it's greater to see around engineering and AI. Who knows what's going to happen? This has been great like this, but we're looking for a concrete project. I think in 2004, in the domain of
right now. Yeah, we're just like,
I think, yeah, I'm excited to hear his thoughts. I think his problem is very similar.
I mean, that's what the process is.
What would you do if you were me?
Getting closer. We finished like our backend part, we let it put it together. So that part is the server will run
And then like, I think the meetings are going well. In person, I can tell the difference, completely tell the difference between in person and online. I can also, tell how important it is for all of us to be listening back to the call. I think we're doing okay, but like maybe like missing so much information. We're not even listening to what someone's saying, and our questions were like the way I was running the calls was so choppy. I think I was pausing, I was stopping him and saying thank you for digging into that. It was such a good comment. And like talking for 2 minutes to say can you dig into it a bit more? And I'm like, why are you doing this? Just like stopping all the way.
Yeah. So good for you. And they'll like record you. They're doing public speaking classes or like negotiations. And so it's great.
Hey all, please remember to fill in the attendance forms, mentors, and students. And if you need a parking validation, please come to me, please.
I think recently we're doing a lot more of that pre-call meeting. We used to meet before calls, but it was always like, hey, let's make sure we ask for the water main to run the call. Now we're like, okay, we've been asking for the water main to like have them calculate, run the call, but kind of strategize around that. I think that's been helpful. Summarizing the calls right after. Recording just other than AI, it's amazing.
So you can take those. I've taken those for onboarding.
Altair, AI.
They all look the same. Firefly, they're all made. So you can take those things, those logs, stick them in ChatGPT, and ask them to extract and put some instructions about the person you're talking to. You can also say, listen to this question and come up with the question you really like, and then you can make standard post-meeting questions, and you can see which questions you got. These are really problems when you scale, but some analysis. We can ask this well about this meeting. How engaged were they? And when they draw that out, they understand the game. So I would focus on.
This one has, I don't know if it's powered by ChatGPT or different editor, but it has its own chat box so you can ask it like, what was the high level reaction items? What was the context?
And you can throw that into the DQ system, take the log in, and say, fill this out as detail. And you should be doing that okay.
I have one question around that. Every time someone asks me who's your ICP, ideal customer profile,
okay.
I have no idea if they're asking for the company or for the individual. So it came up also got, by the way, their offers.
Okay.
We got the Antler, but ended up going Techstars.
Did Antler offer extra money or during the program did they tell you like
200, yeah, they offered us the money. So it was a 500,000 total, 200,000 now for 8%. 300,000 is they get the right to put in the additional, up to 50% of offers. So I think since we'd already given 6% to Techstars, kind of like.
Okay, we're about to start wrapping it up. If you haven't already, just scan the QR code. And again, if you need the parking, let me know.
I would worry about splitting the party. I mean, it's just like if you're in Techstars already, it's like go milk Techstars for everything you can possibly gather them for. If you do want to go with Antler later, let me know. I know some people who've done Antler. I know the Ducky guys.
Also, please take the pizza.
Yeah, they now seem to be more flexible. At first, we were like, even on the 8%, they said, okay, now we can negotiate.
Yeah, well, it's always X and Y is going away everywhere. VC is still the same way. So it's just like, well, you know, it's like, hey, and YouTube now is going to actually the marketing is good and we're good for the next 6 months. You know, we'll definitely consider you at the next round and all that. Now, we're going to give you updates and write you down a dissertation from time to time. You never know.
He's the only thing with him is he promised 2 intros. I've followed up like 10 times. Like he said, I know the CMO. I don't know if he just name dropped and I happen to know him. I was like, that's the guy I've been looking to meet.
So you never know what's going on at Brooklyn Wall. I literally had a customer that do mother-in-law side and didn't call me back for 2 weeks. I'm like, do they hate me? Did I screw something up or whatever? And he's like, I'm not really sorry, I was curious. He didn't mind I was emailing. He wasn't answering anyone. He's like, oh, did you send us an email? I just haven't looked at it. Haven't looked at it. So yeah, had a big hacker on this weekend. And from like Wednesday into Sunday, he wasn't doing anything.
And he was doing the AI thing.
And then so he might be ghosting me. Okay, so I did send you this email.
Yes.
So that's from Entrepreneur Organization. So if you guys have heard of this EO, so I was in EO for many years. So this was an EO for like a medical device for hey, I got this startup guy that Andrew wants to know. I forwarded to EO. I don't know anything about it. I could probably look him up. But by being an EO, it means he's the founder of a company that's basically these are mostly bootstrapped companies. And you know what I know from the email.
That's awesome, yeah. Yeah, super. Yeah, I think we discussed a lot of the hypotheses with Andy, and I'm like pretty excited to dig into these more and see between the 2 and 3 pain points you're hearing, which is like seems like they're already paying for these. So we kind of like isolated a few things that they're paying for, and kind of starting to form some, if we did an MVP for each of them, what should it look like? And hopefully we're thinking of doing like either a mock-up solution or a video next week so we can show it on the calls and be like, this is what we're coming to your offices to build. Like, if you're good, it's...
I mean, that all sounds good. I think these days you can mock stuff up that looks really impressive, but like it's scary. Are you good for the crawl? You got that under control?
I think they're good for the crawl.
So what are the three things you're looking for?
More intros. I think apart from intros, like we haven't identified anything else.
So one thing might be useful is how do you bid for people to show up? So you should, I just say 3. But like, doesn't really matter. But what are the 3 things? So you're looking for, the third one is people who are interested for your business. That's everything else.
Okay.
Probably. The second one might be investors. And if that's true, then it is, we are a early stage something company. I don't know how you invest in this. I'm not sure what category you're in. Because the investor type, and this will definitely be true in the first all they do, they just get 100 whatever corn on top of it. So it's just like, what's the need for this company? And it's in my like, all right, I'm going to take any opportunity I can. And they just want to know, are you an interesting sector in this? We are early stage engineering or engineering medtech AI. We're an early stage AI company at the intersection of medtech. Something like that. Yeah, early stage company at the intersection of medtech and AI. Yeah. I would say engineering somewhere along there. Yeah. We've engineered that. I did not know. Highly technical intersection. That's awesome. What kind of investments does your partner look for? Thank you. And they'll come back and tell you if they're in the domain or not and what stage. And a lot of them will be like later. Like right now. They'll be Series B, Series C. And they'll want to know. They want to keep updates. And you want to keep them so when you have your name. And the last one I think you're looking for is some sort of partner. So we're looking for people who work in the medtech industry. Do you work in medtech or do you know what he does? And I think it's really that clear when they show up. Hey, we're an early stage company working on this. We're looking to meet people who are interested in this. Are you interested in medtech? No.
Okay, and you go like an intro to a manufacturer. Yeah. Take turns filling out a spreadsheet with every single person we talk to. Okay. And if they have a card. Okay.
So you can make QR codes. Do an Airtable sign up. You could have 3 QR codes, one for each category. So all they do is hit the QR code and check their email, and then they're already sorted.
Okay.
Right. So you want to be as simple as possible.
That's awesome. Okay.
And you need to make sure you pre-sort them and you follow up with everyone.
Okay.
You need to make sure like the top tier, your feature, whatever. And again, it's like, are you interested? Do you know anyone it is? You know, where? So you're in a special class of startups from college, right? And so, you know, you need to be able to explain what exactly it is. Again, what kind of, we're talking to Dallas Research, we're talking to these things, like these are the kinds of people and companies that we're looking for. And, you know, we think we're at this major inflection point about how AI is going to do all this. And, you know, we have this background and we've seen this coming. Anyone who's interested in those kind of things. Yeah. And they'll read that you're excited about it. And then they'll actually, you know, my brother-in-law, he works over at Innovation Lab. Yeah. You know, but you need to prime them and tell them how they can help you. It's not their job to figure out that. And literally, like people like I remember showing up here, they're like, "Oh, we're a creative company." I'm good. And it's like, what the heck are you talking about? You're a creative company, and that means something very specific. Yeah. That now I know what that is, but it's just like I know. You do what? And they're like, "Oh, we synthesize brands." I'm like, I still have no idea.
That's really good. Okay.
them over somewhere else. Okay. Hey, you want to see LinkedIn? Here, go scan that, and I'll do it all afterwards. Make it super. You don't want to take your phone out or do anything. And so I would have these like easy places and just say, oh, go do that. I'd love to. You know, hey, you want to connect? Hey, do, you know, great, awesome. Yeah, make it super easy.